how's it going, guys? So I thought I'd do this video just about dating apps, just because obviously right now for a lot of guys it might be something to consider using, because obviously with the lockdown it's kind of difficult to go. It's not like it's impossible to do day game, it is definitely still possible, but obviously there is going to be less quantity than there would be otherwise. So there is some argument to be made about you know, potentially doing a bit of online game just as another string to your bow, because like for me, you know, ever since like the first lockdown I dabbled in it a bit, and it, you know, I've been on a few dates during this, like since March of last year. So it is something to potentially consider, even though, you know, I've said it loads of times on this channel, you know, I fucking hate online dating. I think it's a complete load of shit. I think dating game is way better, it's more genuine, it's just a better experience overall. But yeah, like I say, something to consider. So yeah, in this video I just kind of want to give a bit of like my own little tips and stuff, and my own sort of impressions about the various dating apps, which ones I think are good, which ones I think are shit, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm just going to go through some of the more common dating apps, not in any particular order, just kind of run through it, and I might share a bit of like some of my conversations and stuff, just to kind of you know, just to go through some of the stuff that I've been doing as well. So yeah, just to kind of start off with just a general thing with online dating. Obviously it's all pretty much to do with your profile, so your pictures, and a little bit of like your bio, so the stuff that you write, you know, a little description about yourself. You are going to get judged, unfortunately, like 90% just by your photos, so it's, you know, it's very superficial in that sense. You know, at least with day game you can actually portray your personality and your charisma and your confidence and all these other things, which you can't really do with online dating. You're just shoved into this big pool of other guys who are, you know, who don't really have much value, and you're kind of shoved in with them as well, so it's kind of hard to differentiate yourself. But anyway, yeah, so the best thing you can do really is make sure you've got good quality photos, you know, not just showing you or your face or whatever. Ideally, you know, either with friends so that it shows that you're sociable, maybe if you can take a picture with some other girls, that can be quite good, or doing activities, so like something that you're doing in the background, whether, you know, you're taking a picture in front of like some historical monument or some tourist attraction or something, shows that you travel, or, you know, doing some kind of activity like rock climbing, hiking, snowboarding, or something like that, you know. That can really help. And I know this is going to sound really fucking lame and superficial, but, you know, if you've got a half decent body, it's worth kind of doing like a semi-topless shot, so not like just taking your shirt off and posing, because that makes you look like a bellend. But like, if there's like an excuse to show a bit of your like to wear a tank top, so say you're at the beach, or you're doing some sort of beach activity or water activity, and you've got like a topless photo because it's relevant to the occasion, and that can help as well. And then yeah, the rest of it is like in your profile, if you can add a bit of value, you know, just for me, like on my profile, I just have a few jokes and stuff because I like to have a bit of fun, have a bit of banter and stuff. So if you can do a bit of that stuff in your profile bio as well, that's the best you can do. And then the rest is just like, it's just a lottery really. It's just like fingers crossed and see what you can do, see what happens really. So yeah, to start off with, the first one the most common one would be Tinder. Everyone's heard of this. It's the most common one by far. It's surprisingly, it's not the most commonly used dating app in the world, but certainly in like the UK and America and most of the Western world, it's probably the most common and most well heard of one. So that would be Tinder. Not much to say with Tinder, you know, it's like, you know, it's just pretty bog standard really. From what I've noticed from using Tinder, I tend to only be able to get one match a day, no matter where I am in the world. I'm only capable of getting one match per day, sometimes two, depending. But yeah, it's a bit weird how the algorithm works. But yeah, from what I've noticed, I'm only capable of getting one match a day, and that girl could be anyone. She could be like really not so attractive. She could be decent, but generally speaking, they're not very attractive. So yeah, that's what I've experienced with Tinder. It's kind of weird how it works. I'm using the free version, so I'm not using the paid version because I don't really see why I should pay for something like this. But yeah, I don't understand why that is, but that's what I've encountered. I've noticed that in London and in the UK, Tinder is really shit, really bad. Not really getting much out of that at all. No joy really from that. But if you do go to like other countries, Tinder can be decent. You know, I have matched with some quite attractive girls in other countries on Tinder, especially in like Ukraine. I went on at least 1 or 2 dates on Tinder in Ukraine, and also like just generally throughout the world, it's actually half decent. Even Serbia as well, it was okay. And then the next one is Bumble. Bumble is a bit different because when you match with a girl, the girl has to make the first move, so she has to send you the first message if she likes you, and then you have, it's kind of like it's a bit annoying because it's like there's like a two-way kind of like block in a sense, because not only do you have to match with the girl in the first place, you've also got to rely on her sending you the fucking first message. So sometimes the girl will match with you but not send you the message, and then 24 hours later that match disappears. So there's a bit of it's a bit tricky with that one, but it's, you know, I still have had decent success with that. When I arrived in Mexico City, I was there for a little bit. It was actually really good there. Like, day game was really shit in Mexico City. For some reason, you know, I went out for a couple of hours and I didn't see anyone to approach. Like, there was people outside in the streets, but there was just literally no hot girls to approach. So it was quite bad. But yeah, Bumble was decent. You know, I was getting pretty much almost every like swipe was a match in Mexico City for me, which is absolutely unheard of for me. You know, I never ever get that. That's what it's kind of like being like a hot girl in London, for example. You know, every swipe is a match. But yeah, I suppose it's like the gringo factor, like a white guy in Mexico City. You know, it does give you a lot of value. So yeah, but generally, yeah, Bumble is very hit and miss. What I have noticed with Bumble is that whenever I go to a new place for the first time, I get shitloads of matches. Like the first day of like swiping, I get a lot of matches, but then after that it dies down really rapidly. It just goes like this, and then just downhill like really quickly. It really dries up very fast. I don't know why that is. The algorithm is a bit weird with Bumble as well, but that's just what I've noticed. I get like quite a lot of matches whenever I go to a new place, and then after like a day or two it just dies down completely and I get nothing. So yeah, I would say it's still better than Tinder though. I have had more success with that than in Tinder. But again, you are relying on the girls to make the moves and stuff, so she kind of has to really like you for it to go anywhere really. But otherwise, the functionality is pretty much just the same as Tinder, more or less the same demographic, maybe slightly classier girls possibly, but I don't know. Tinder tends to have a bit more trashier girls in my opinion. The next one, which is actually surprisingly the most popular dating app in the world, is called Badou. And some people might not even have heard of this. I hadn't even heard of this until I went to Ukraine, but apparently it was the most popular app in Ukraine. And it's actually really popular throughout the world, and it's actually a lot of people are on it, even in London as well. The thing with Badou is the app looks like utter shit. It just looks like some shitty, crappy fucking app. But yeah, there's quite a lot of girls on there, and it's very international. So you are going to get quite a lot of foreign girls, and some of them are going to be quite hot. So I would say it's worth looking into. Badou. I did actually manage to get laid during the lockdown in London from Badou, so it was good in that sense. You do get the odd hot foreign girl on there because it is very international, but then you also do get a lot of time wasters who set their location to like London or whatever, but they're not actually in London, so it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you wasting my time? You know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say it's still better than Tinder, and it's about the same as like in terms of like usefulness as Bumble, I would say. And then there's Hinge. Hinge, I would say, is the best app in London, and possibly the UK as well, but definitely London. It's by far the best app. It's just because people, I think they're a bit more serious on there. They take it a bit more seriously. I think the majority of the people there are definitely looking for like a long-term relationship, and they do tend to be quite like the you know, like the English. There's a lot of English girls on there, and they tend to be like the office types, you know, working in like some sort of corporate career or something. And they tend, from what I've noticed, there tends to be a lot of girls in their late 20s, early 30s. A lot of early 30s I found are on there, but it's still by far like the best in terms of responsiveness and people who are actually taking it a bit more seriously. So yeah, I would say it's by far the best. The way it works is that you have to like hit a like on a certain aspect of their profile. So whether it's a photo or whether it's a piece of information that they're telling about themselves on their profile, you have to like that and potentially leave a comment. I remember when I first downloaded it, I looked at it and I was like, oh fuck this, I can't be fucking bothered to have to leave a comment on every single person that I swipe. But actually it doesn't really work like that. The way it works is that all you have to do is leave a little like on a certain aspect of their profile, and they will see that, and if they like you back, they'll invite you to start a conversation with them. So that actually works pretty well. It's actually pretty good because, and it's good anyway because like it enables you to start off the conversation with a certain something that is relevant to them, or like a certain aspect of their profile or something that you liked. So that's, you know, what I would recommend with that. It's by far the best Hinge, I would say. It's just the girls are just taking it more seriously, and you're able to have more. You're more likely to be able to have conversations and stuff, from what I've experienced. And then those I would say are the main ones. There's also OkCupid, which it's okay. It's kind of shit. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's not the worst. It's maybe worth looking into. And then there's Happen, which pretty shit in most places. You might get the odd match if you're lucky. Not great. And then there's a few others which are awful, like Match. I don't know like if other guys have had much success from there, but it's just absolutely awful. For some reason it just keeps on giving me like women who are like 40 odd living in like Scunthorpe or something. I don't understand what the fuck's going on with this fucking app. But yeah, it's like I don't understand why you know, you're not able to like set your location to London or whatever and only have matches in London, but if for some reason it's adamant to give me matches in some random part of the UK. And the quality is really bad there as well. It's all just like, you know, single mums with kids, just like, you know, like 40 odd. It's just not great. And there might be some others that you have to pay for as well. Plenty of Fish is the one. Sorry, not Match. Plenty of Fish is I think the one. Match I think you have to pay for. I refuse to pay for you know, dating apps. I just think, what's the fucking point? It's like, it's bad enough as it is. I'm not fucking paying for this shit, you know, especially when you can do it for free with Day Game and get much better results. What I'd recommend, you know, if you do get a match and you quite like the girl, you can either do it two ways really. You can have just like a box standard opener that you use for every single one. I tend to do that myself. Or you can start it off with kind of like in a Day Game interaction where you draw perhaps an assumption about her just based on what you can see on the profile, or, you know, some relevant bit of information that she's revealed about herself in the profile. So you can make a joke out of something that she said. That can be quite good, but again, it's up to you whether you want to put that much effort in, because, you know, half the time you send messages, they ignore you anyway. So yeah, it depends if you can be bothered really. It's good to kind of treat it kind of like a Day Game interaction where you're making those assumptions and trying to build a conversation about, you know, something that you notice or about her. That's always quite good. So yeah, that's kind of like what I would recommend. I'd definitely recommend Hinge as the best one in the UK. But yeah, like I say, like dating apps, they're no substitution for Day Game. You know, it is still possible to do Day Game if you do hit the parks and like the busy areas where people are taking walks and that kind of thing, until lockdown ends. So, but yeah, it's still possible to do it. We'd still definitely recommend. The good thing about Day Game, at least now, is that although there's not as many people out, the ones that you do stop, they're not going to be in a rush because most people aren't doing anything really at this time. So they are going to be quite friendly and receptive in that sense, because, you know, they're not rushing around to get to somewhere. And that's actually the biggest thing that kind of that normal day game situations. That's kind of like the biggest like stumbling block for anyone doing day game, is that the fact that you're stopping them, you're doing a cold approach, they're busy living their lives, sometimes they're just not going to have time for you for whatever reason. People are busy, you know. But now they're not, so that's what makes day game good right now. So yeah, still try and do day game, but obviously dating apps, they can act as another string to your bow.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on you approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.